Sociology Group Video Project. Hi, my name is Nigel, and in this video, my group members Evan, Tayler, Izzy, Zack, and Madison will discuss how writing in a journal shed light on which aspects of our social life most impacted our day-to-day lives, and we'll also share a few examples from our journal entries to help paint the picture. But before we get into that, here's some information we've gathered from our journals.
For my journal entries, I mainly explain my day-to-day connection with my family. My family is a big part of my life. I will try to make sure I contact my family at least once throughout the day to make sure they're doing okay. I will always FaceTime them, whether it be my mother, father, or little sister. I did go over every aspect of my life, of course, including my social life, my school life, and the activities I involve myself in on a day-to-day basis. Generally speaking, I wrote about my family 60 to 65% of the time. My social life and activities made up about 20% of the entries, and school life made up the last 15 to 20% of my journal entries.
In my journal, the three main elements that I applied to my life was family, friends, and focusing on school. These elements apply to my everyday life. For example, I am always going to need family and friends through any circumstances. Also, focusing on school is a main key of your social background. 20% of my journal reflects on family. About 30% is based off of focusing on myself. Mainly, my journal focuses on friends, which is about 45%.
My name is Madison Brown. I found that in my journal, my friends shaped the majority of my social world in school. About 60% of my journal's entries consisted of activities involving my close group of friends, 20% involved my family back home, and about 20% involved my school environment as a whole.
For my journal entry, I focus on self-development, family members, and my relationship. 35% of my time was spent on self-development, 25% was spent on family members, and 40% is on my relationship. From self-development, I believe that the first step of me becoming something new was first spending the time alone to work on who I am and who I want to become. Then I took the time to get a job and progress and made sure I have somewhere to stay so I won't have to depend on nobody else but myself. The next factor I spent on is my family members. Knowing that your family members are the closest people you'll ever have in your life, making sure you keep your ties close and do not cut none of your bridges with any of them, making sure that everything you have is right there because you know every family member will be there for you is something I learned. The last thing is my relationship, making sure you have good connection, loyalty, and trust with one another. Without that, I realized you cannot have a good relationship. That's something me and my significant other are building upon. And I believe with all three of those things is what I focused on in my journal entry.
I found out that I spent most of my time writing about school, making up a whopping 60% of my journal entries. The rest of my journal entries dealt with family, which made up 20%, my girlfriend at 15%, and 5% was me talking about the media. In our journal entries, we discovered that our family, friends, and school have the most impact from our social environment, and these three elements significantly shape our everyday lives. How? Well, we'll show you.
In one of my beginning entries in February, my mother called me to talk about her situation back home. She told me how the night before she was told that her company was going to have to get rid of her. She cried all night and was comforted by my father and sister. She got up the next morning feeling drained and stressed at the fact that she did not have a job anymore. When she called me, she expressed these feelings, and I could only reply by telling her not to worry and explaining to her that everything happens for a reason. She told me that she appreciates me and that she loves me and also thanked me for the kind words. In my journal the day after, I spoke about how I received a long text telling me how I was appreciated for talking to her the way I did and telling her that everything would be okay. That entry was the deepest to me and was my favorite, which is why I feel my journal entries are mainly about my family. I care about them a lot, and when something happens, whether it be negative or positive, it affects me as well.
I grew up a pretty quiet and isolated kid, so it's crazy coming from that to now when I hang out with my group of friends almost every day. My friends have influenced me a lot while I've been here, mainly persuading me to try something I would never have done at home. Back at home, I was really never allowed to go outside after maybe 7 or 8 o'clock, mainly for fear that I would get kidnapped. My friends, however, are used to going out in the dark of night. Against my better judgment, I go out with them sometimes. In this one particular instance, my girlfriend decided it would be a good idea to go to Waffle House around 12 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't really say no to her, so we called up an Uber and headed out to the restaurant. I'd never actually gone to a Waffle House back when I lived in Memphis, so I wasn't sure what to expect when I went in. To my surprise, the place didn't actually look all that bad. We sat down and ordered our waffles and ate in peace. It was all pretty nice. Now from here, things started to derail a bit. The blonde lady who was serving us actually only charged us for one meal, which was nice, but as she ringed us up, she started arguing with another server, a black woman who was working the grill. Now, I don't know exactly what they were arguing about, but it seemed that it wasn't their first time arguing. This resulted in the black lady storming out, yelling through the door for the blonde lady to come out and fight her. Now, my girlfriend and I were waiting on our Uber to come back to campus at this point, so we couldn't help but be in the back of the corner of the restaurant laughing. Our chuckling didn't last long though, because the guy who was cooking joined in on the yelling and started threatening to shoot up the place, even pulling out his phone to call his boys up. My girlfriend, the rest of the customers, and I promptly left the building, not wanting to catch any of the bullets he was apparently trying to send flying. We got back on campus safely, so it was fine, but I think it's funny that I would never have experienced that had my girlfriend not convinced me to go. I think I'll stick to not going out late though. It seems a lot safer here at school.
Friends are an important factor in your life. Attending a college away from home made me realize that family is not going to always be there for you, physically. That's why it's important to have friends that can support you when you need them to. Coming across good friends can be hard to do sometimes. When you do come across some, cherish them. With good friends, you should be able to tell them anything. They should not have a problem helping you through any situation you are going through. Friends can impact one's life tremendously. Having that comfort that someone cares about you is a great feeling. Knowing someone is there for you can get you through your day a lot easier. The feeling of someone having your back is a stress reliever. Coming to college has taught me to have my own group of friends. For example, don't try to fit in where you don't belong. Hang around people that fit your personality. Keep friends with positive vibes around. Don't have anyone in your circle that only bring bad vibes.
Hello, my name is Ismail Abdul Hakim, and what family means to me is something very precious and dear. Sometimes people are not close to their family due to certain situations and backgrounds in the society they live in. I believe that if you are any type of family, that you are still connected to them in some type of way. For example, for me, in my family household, I was not very connected to my father, but I was connected to my mother, even meeting her after 8 years of being born. I believe that most of the people in my family are disconnected, but still will hold each other down for when a situation occurs.
Writing for 50 days in my journal taught me that school is a major aspect of my life. I attend Tennessee State University, and life on the campus is filled with a plethora of different social groups that you can be a part of. I'm in the marching band, and the marching band has allowed me to interact with people I didn't normally think I'd get to interact with. Last semester, I got to meet the former president of the United States, Obama. He was a highlight moment of my life I won't ever forget. Even got to shake hands with him. Haven't watched them since. Well, that about wraps up our video. Thanks for watching, and I hope that this video has helped you understand how family, friends, and school impact our everyday lives, and hopefully we'll get an A. Thank you.